Almost 2 decades ago, a scam that was hard to believe. A manager at a Mount Washington McDonald's strip searching her employee after a stranger called her, identified himself as police, and told the manager an employee has stolen from a customer. In the years that followed, investigations, court cases, and lawsuits when the strip search hoax hit home. Shane McAllister takes us back in this week's WHAS 11 Vault.
I can still not get in my mind why happened what happened.
It was hard to believe, even for a detective who had seen it all. The case started on April 9th of 2004 at a Mount Washington and McDonald's when a man called the restaurant from a payphone in Florida more than 600 miles away.
Evidently, he's a very smooth talker.
The caller told the assistant manager, Donna Summers, he was a police officer. He convinced Summers her employee, Louise Ogborn, stole money from a customer. He went on to encourage Summers to perform a strip search on the young employee right there in the restaurant, and she did. During that same call, the manager's boyfriend was persuaded to sodomize the teenager in a back room. Over a 9-year period, that man made dozens of calls to restaurants in as many as 30 states. Detectives say he pulled off at least 70 over-the-phone strip searches. But just months after the Mount Washington hoax, local investigators cracked the case, tracking down the phone card purchase, finding surveillance video, and seeing David Stewart, a corrections officer still in uniform, buying a card from the Walmart in Panama City. The suspect was extradited back to Bullitt County, and the case headed to the courts.
I think they have a sense of satisfaction that maybe justice is performed.
But that didn't last.
Jury found the defendant not guilty of.
David Stewart was found not guilty on all counts in October of 2006.
Not one thing that they find in his house links him to this offense.
There was no recording of his voice or witness to testify that they saw him making the call, so it was hard for jurors to convict him. But the others accused of crimes in the case would not have the same outcome. 7 months earlier, Walter Nix, the manager's boyfriend, was found guilty on multiple charges. He accepted a plea deal and agreed to testify against the caller, David Stewart. And the manager, Donna Summers, who was also convicted on misdemeanor charges and spent a year on probation. It was some accountability, but not enough. The next year, Louise Ogborn sued McDonald's, asking for $200 million in damages.
I was ashamed of it.
Why were you ashamed?
Because I felt like I had done something wrong, that maybe I should have done something. Maybe I should have fought back. Maybe I should have ran.
McDonald's attorneys emphasized the blame belonged on Donna Summers for not recognizing it was a hoax. 2 of her employees that night, a short-order cook and a maintenance man, even sussed it out, and both became witnesses for the fast food chain.
What'd you say to her?
That's BS.
Sorry?
BS.
And I said, it's something wrong here. I'm out of here. I said, this ain't right.
In the end,
we, the jury, find for Louise Ogborn under instruction number 9 and award her punitive damages against McDonald's Corporation.
Ogborn was awarded $6.1 million for punitive damages, compensatory damages, and expenses.
Today's jury award was likely the equivalent of 4 days of coffee sales nationwide. So this isn't an amount of money that will make McDonald's financially hurt. It's certainly not enough money to make them bankrupt. But I think it is enough money for them to pay attention.
Donna Summers was also awarded more than $1 million from McDonald's because of the company's failure to warn employees about hoax callers and what they should do.